Hi guys, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Today we're bringing back an old friend who came on the show end of last year.
Yeah.
This is Kyle from KG Theatre.
Hi everybody.
You alright?
Yeah, not bad, thank you, mate.
First of all, I want to apologise because we came and recorded some stuff for you. I've got to say, when was it? It was January, February, something like that.
A while ago, yeah.
I just had this new camera, which we can see in front of me, and I didn't understand the battery threshold. Mm-hmm. And I was like, one battery would be absolutely fine. And we recorded a load of it was good stuff. We were recording you guys, but it was like gobbledygook. You know, we kind of just recorded stuff, long bursts of stuff, and it didn't kind of make any sense. So I went back and looked at the footage, and I was kind of like, I can't do anything with this. I had no narrative. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're going to continue recording now, today, sort of 6 months on, and we're going to sort of use that old footage as a progression piece, which I think is going to be great. I've never done something like that before. So.
No, it'll be good, and it'll be good for everyone to see as well, like how far KG Theatre has actually come. You know, we're growing every day, and yeah, it's going to be good.
Do you want to explain to listeners who may not have heard our last podcast what KG Theatre is and where it started? Yeah,
so I opened the company this time last year, actually a year today. Wow, it's a year today. Happy birthday, KG.
Wow.
That is...
Couldn't have timed this better, could we?
No,
it's in the
brilliant.
stars.
So yeah, I opened the company last year, and it was a really interesting time for me personally, as it's something, you know, I've done theatre work for 9 years now, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to branch off, do it myself. So I come up with the idea of starting KG Theatre, and it was one of them where I just sort of had a bit of a eureka moment where I was like, I'm going to do it, and then I just put all my eggs in that basket, and I just was like, right, there's no going back.
Which they tell you not to do, really, don't they?
Usually
they're like, don't do that. Because,
man. I just completely went for it, and yeah, I'm so glad I did, because, you know, the risks that we took along the way. You know, we opened the company in September, and then we did a panto in December, which you came to.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
So yeah, we did Beauty and the Beast in December last year, and in that short space of time, for the show that we actually put on, it was a decent show, and then obviously we've had the year now on the back of that to put the panto on this year. So
to put the pantomime into perspective, you guys did it at Sundorne Sports Hall, which is a great place, but it is ultimately a sports hall.
Yeah.
The show was that good. You felt like you weren't there. It was kind of great when the show is that good that you forget that you're in a sports hall of all places. It shows that you've put on a great show.
No, yeah, I appreciate that. Do you know what? I really pride myself, especially in the acting classes that we do, in that stage management and like targeting your audience. Like, I really believe that any emotion shown on stage, if the audience can feel that emotion, it's really, really important.
Especially with music.
They're in with you, they're gripped then. And like you say, you forget your surroundings and you're completely glued into the story.
You're really good at like breaking it down as well. So you'd have a really powerful song, and then you'd break it up with someone running into the crowd with sweets or with water guns or something. You'd like break it up so that the kids would be sort of entertained as well as people getting that experience. But you know, you're building up now again for another pantomime. This is how long it takes. We're in just the beginning of September now.
Yeah.
And have you guys been training already?
So today will actually be the first time the panto cast have met each other. We've got a few of the cast from last year. They've come back and done another year. Like, we've got Jess coming back. She's playing Jasmine this year. I've sort of taken a step back, and I'm the comedy role this year. But then I've taken a further step back, and I'm actually going to focus on more of the directing side of things. So a few things I wanted to tweak from last year. I've got backstage crew now as well, so I don't have to worry about that really. I just guide them, and they sort of, you know, take the lead on that. People in the wings, set designers, costume designers, so they're all coming in now, and yeah, it's coming together nicely. As well, last year I had to do it all myself.
Well, last year we were coming out the back of a pandemic, weren't we? And people still, it's crazy that we're still thinking about it. You know, we're on our way to 2023, we're still talking, but it had such a dramatic effect with the arts.
Yeah.
in particular, because those productions did have to stop, and even when we get to now, there's like my coiled spring metaphor. People are now like really want to get into it because they, there's that recoil. What are you guys doing this year? What
so we're doing Aladdin this year.
Nice.
I've written it again myself. As you know, some of the jokes last year, I've completely rewritten Aladdin. So
really?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a twist, which I don't want to give away too much. So if you do want to see what that twist is, come down to the show. But yeah, it's really funny this year. I've gone more comedy than anything else. So it's like a comedy pantomime this year.
How do you get yourself in the mindset to write comedy? Because I know a few comedy writers, and that's one of those questions that just vary differently.
You don't really get a moment as such. It's more you watch something like I've watched Aladdin probably 50 times in the past year.
Will Smith or Robin Williams?
All of them. All the different variations. I've watched amateur pantomimes. I've watched pantomimes on YouTube, different variations like cameo performances, and I've just sort of like looked and thought, I like that idea. I'm going to make my own version of it. So you kind of pinch bits from places without stealing them, if that makes sense. And yeah, you kind of put your own twist on it. Like you'll see, because you came last year, you'll see it's very KG, and you'll start to, people who do come regularly are going to start seeing that there is a KG way of doing things, and that's
it's nice that you've developed your own stride and your own, like I said, your own way of doing things. Is that because of the people around you, or is that because of your philosophies?
Probably a bit of both, to be honest. I mean, anyone who knows me will always tell you he likes to be different. And I think that's really important, especially in theatre and the arts and, entertainment in general. I think it's so important, because if you have got that something different, people will want to come and see that something different as well. If you just put your own variation on something else that's already been done, people are like, well, I'd rather pay a little bit extra and go and see what's already been done, because they've practiced it, and it's more of a risk, I think, if you take it that way, rather than developing your own thing, because if people have never seen your own thing before, they don't know if you're doing it good or bad. So,
and I know there's other production companies around Shropshire, some great guys, that I think they're fantastic. All deserve a shout out for what they do. But I feel like we've and this is not meant to offend you in any way, but these grassroots like productions like yourself that are starting from the bottom, I feel like there's a desire and a hunger there to get it right.
Absolutely, yeah. And it, like you say, with everyone else doing amazing performances, I go and support local businesses and other theatre companies by going to watch their shows and things like that. I just look and I think, wow, that is the goal. With panto, I'm lucky that I come from that background myself. I'm very much a pantomime director. That's why I started with panto rather than musical theatre, because even though I have done musical theatre and that's what I'm trained in, it's panto where I really feel like I can give something different. So growing the pantomime side of things first, as well as doing the classes and acting classes, singing classes, it's getting that something different out there, and then people will go, okay, KG Theatre are doing a musical theatre show this year, let's go and have a look, because that'll be KG's twist on it. So I want to get that out there first and just say, look, we're not here to copy anyone, we're not here to tread on anyone's toes. It's completely fresh.
No, but I believe like there's enough people around here, especially in Sundorne and surrounding areas. You can have a direct. I mean, we talked about last time. I leaned heavily on the community aspect of this because it is in a place that does need a lot of love.
Absolutely, yeah.
And have you felt that love? Has a lot of people locally
massively,
come in?
Yeah, massively. People who come through the door, whether they're a completely average Joe or whether they've got severe educational needs or disabilities or whatever. We cater for anything like that. I don't know how many people know, but I'm actually a teacher, like 9 to 5. I wish it was 9 to 5 anyway. But yeah, that's my day job, and I deal with all the, you know, special educational needs and things like that. So I feel that is really, really important, you know, the inclusion, the diversity, and yeah, it's just... Like
inclusion's very important, especially with this, because I feel like a focus or something you can put your all into and distract yourselves away from the problems of life can be a lifesaver in some particular circumstances. And let's talk about this place, Sundorne Sports Hall, because I know there's been a few issues. There's a bit of vandalism. This place, where we're sat right now, I purposely chose to sit here. We could have sat in the office where it was nice. I like the echo here because this is where you do your thing. This is the hall. This is the dance hall, and you've got a new floor. Yeah. But wasn't a choice by you, was it really?
No, so this is actually the original flooring. So after the vandalism, which unfortunately happened a couple of months ago now, the whole place was completely ransacked. We had a vinyl flooring over this wood flooring, and it was completely wrecked, you know, glass in it and all sorts. Yeah, it was just not, you know, we had to get rid of it, and there's, you know, £5,000 worth of floor there.
Wow.
And it's, you know, there's probably about £50,000 worth of damage across the building, yeah. And it was the studio actually that got affected the most.
Absolutely mindless, considering what this place does for the community.
Yeah, and you know, unfortunately there is people like that out there who find the fun in it, but I don't know. I don't know how
it must have been devastating for you guys, but like at the same time, do you feel like situations that can kind of bring you in closer as a group of people?
Yeah. I mean, since the vandalism, I think everybody across KG Theatre, Elite Dance Studios, Impact, you know, they've all come together and thought, you know, whether it's fundraisers, we did the dance show as KG, we did that completely free of charge and said, look, you take everything to put back into this place. You know, because so many people benefit from it. Sports hall as such didn't really get affected. But the studio, all hirers who come in and hire the studio, we had to cancel all our classes, and yeah, it was a tough time.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're still doing these things, and you're saying this floor is the original floor. It's a bit louder, you know. There's a bit of an echo there.
Yeah.
It's better when you guys are dancing and jumping around.
Yeah.
You're trying to raise that voice over there. What have you learned over the last year today? What are the good things you've learned about this and the bad things?
So much. I learned that as a director of a company, there's a lot more behind the scenes than what people think. You know, there's ins and outs, like whether it's from something small like a risk assessment to putting on a show. You know, there's so much in between. There's so many little steps you have to take, so many corners you have to turn, so many obstacles you have to overcome. There's loads.
Lots of red tape.
Yeah.
Especially working with kids as well. You know.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I mean, I completely love working with the kids as much as I love working with the adults. You know, it's a really tight community, and it is like a family, and everyone who comes in adapts that. And I think that's really important as well. We have, if the younger ones come in, you know, you get the adults and they just sort of mother them, and you know, it's really cool to be a part of. And I think that's not only down to me, I think that's down to everyone just coming together and realising that actually it's a safe space to come. You know, you can have a laugh and, you know, do what you love doing, because everyone's here for the same reason.
You just try.
Yeah, exactly.
You just try.
Yeah, exactly.
What else? You know, so what have you tried this year that you've gone, that was actually really, really good? Like, is there anything that's good that really like brightened your day or made things easier for you?
Probably, if I had to pick one thing, it's getting the pantomime up and running and the ball rolling a lot earlier than I did last year. You know, I only had 3 months last year to do it, and we've put on the show that you saw. But this year I started February, March, and that was to plan what's coming up in December. So I've had 9,
look what's happened.
10
You've now
months.
got your backstage crew.
Yeah.
And you've got a great cast. And how have you found your cast? Is it just people? You got a lot of new faces, a lot of old faces.
Yeah, like I said earlier, we got some of the original cast who were in Beauty and the Beast last year. They've come back to do Aladdin this year. We're actually outsourcing professional cast to come in this year as well. And they're going to kind of help with a lot of the backstage stuff as well. All the people I've come in, and who are coming into the business, I've kind of been a bit picky with it, but I think again that's important, because if you're not, things can go wrong quite easily. And if you know kind of what you're looking for, and I mean, I'm all about giving people a fair shot, and anyone who wants to come down, by all means come down. I'm not going to judge anybody, but I think when it comes to things like that and bringing people in to do a business role, I think it's really important who you choose and who you work with. But any of the cast, they're great. They all come together and they're meeting each other for the first time today, so that'll be exciting.
That'll be great. We're going to get that on camera, and I'm going to have an idea of what to actually film today. I've already done a little bit. I accidentally was like, oh my god, look at this place, it looks amazing. Look at this brand new floor, but I didn't realise this is actually the original floor. And actually your really expensive floor is what got damaged.
Yeah, it's a shame, and like I said, the vandalism hit hard, and there's only bits that went through the insurance, and it's everything else, like the fundraisers, the dance show, things like that, and people just literally reaching into their own pockets out of their businesses and saying, look, we'll donate this, we'll loan you this, or whatever we can do to help out. Shrewsbury's got that tight community feel wherever you are in Shrewsbury, whether it's you're in a deprived area or whether you're in one of the nicer areas, everyone comes together if you need help. It's brilliant, whether it's a £5 here or 500 quid there, do you know what I mean? Everyone's come together. Well,
Kickstarters are really good for that. I mean, we've been working with Rocking Horse. We've been doing some great stuff with them. Rocking Horse Media, they're making their TV pilot, Henry House, and they'll put Kickstarters up now and again, and it'll really help just boost them along. Have you tried something like that for Aladdin, just to see if you can get a bit of extra funding?
Funding's probably been one of the hardest things,
really,
to be honest. Yeah. I feel like funding in theatre is difficult anyway, because people will only fund if they know what they're expecting. As a new company, nobody knows. So funding, again, has all come from the classes. It's a non-profit business, so anything we do make as a profit per se goes back into the business to put on.
You can only really buy equipment with it and stuff.
Yeah. So it's been really tough. We've had no funding whatsoever for Aladdin, and
maybe something to consider then, a Kickstarter. I think that'd be really good, just so you can get a bit of extra bits that you like. I know you're looking for volunteers, anybody that can come and help. I mean, I know you've got your backstage crew.
Absolutely, yeah. Volunteer, yeah, by all means, come and help. Anyone who's got a backstage crew or
musicians. I see you looking at musicians. Be good.
Yeah, band. We've got the lad who's playing Abanazar this year, which is our evil villain. He's actually a really good pianist, so he may or may not make a musical appearance.
We'll have to put the pressure on him.
Yeah,
he's got no choice.
Yeah,
just put him on the poster.
Yeah, to be fair, he's all for it. I mean, it's probably me, to be fair, who's said, no, I don't know about that, mate. But do you know what? He's all for it, and he he's a great lad. He actually runs a company called The Group, which is based on autism, Asperger's, and which is something I'm really passionate about, having it myself. I think it's really, really important that people have got that, again, safe space to come to. People have, the quite severe needs who are coming and just absolutely loving it. We're actually putting a performance on under The Group for autism awareness and Asperger's awareness.
I'd love to get involved with that. I think that sounds really good.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I'll speak to Dan. Like he's great, and he's the one who's running it, and he's playing our Abanazar this year. So, that again, that community aspect to it, it's brilliant.
What would you say to say we got a parent listening and they got a little whippersnapper they feel might be really talented, or maybe it's somebody themselves that want to give it a go. What advice would you give to them?
Come along. You never know until you try.
No.
Don't. If it's something, so many people are like, oh yeah, but I'm not confident. Doesn't matter. I was not confident at all when I first started. In fact, I walked on stage. This was my first ever performance, and it was a play called Run for Your Wife, and it was a Ray Cooney play, I think it was. But yeah, I walked on stage and I had 3 lines to say, and I forgot 2 of them. And I was like, I walked off stage and I was like, I've just absolutely messed that up.
I bet you just like, I'll never do that again.
Yeah,
never do that again. Yeah.
And, coming from that, and now I've got my own theatre company, it's crazy. That's probably 11 years ago since I first walked on stage. And I'm like, wow. Looking back at that, and it brings out a whole new side to you. And people, you will all support each other, whether that's me supporting you as a coach or, as a director or whatever, or even just your friend. Do you know what I mean? I'm friends with all of them.
What's the protocol though for when somebody like forgets their line? Do you just own it?
Yeah, own it. Yeah.
Just carry on.
If you go on stage and freeze, the audience feels for you, and that's really, it's actually quite nice. It's not a bad thing really, as such. It's obviously you prefer them not to, but the audience are kind of like, oh no, they forgot their lines. God, I feel really bad for them. Rather than they forgot their lines, get them off the stage, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, with panto as well, you can get away with it.
Suppose you can improvise a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. And when you've got professional casts coming in, we've done it for years, you kind of just expect it, really. And you get to know the story so well that you already know what's coming next. So if someone does forget their lines, you don't just look at them and go, I'm waiting for you, come on, say your line, and then I can say mine. You literally just carry on. And it, I think someone forgot their lines last year, and we just kind of just went, okay, so, and then they come backstage and they were all in a bit of a huff and a puff, and I was like, don't worry about it, let's go back out there.
Are you having fun? Yeah, okay, crack on.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as you are having fun, that's the main thing, and doing what you love, I think is so important. To just, if there's so many people who have always wanted to try acting or try singing, but never knew how to. And I think that having KG and having my own company, the door's always open. If you want to try it, come down and try it. It's so important.
Let's talk about the event itself. Last year was great because you had a little VIP seating and it was really cool. What are you going to do differently this year, or are you going to keep it the same? Did you quite like it last year? Or?
I did like it last year.
The couches at the front.
We did. Yeah, we did have sofas at the front. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not something we're doing this year, because we are hiring a theatre at Pressfield School.
Wow.
So going from 65 seats to 280 seats.
Wow. Is
going to be a big step. I'm not expecting to sell the tickets out, to be honest. Again, KG's not really got his name out there as such. But
we can certainly help out. I mean, we can do a competition. Give away some tickets, and share type thing. That'd be
absolutely.
Really good.
We did that actually for the raffle. And someone actually won 2 free tickets for the panto this year. So,
the listeners out there, there will be something coming soon. We'll work out
absolutely,
because we want to try and maybe we could give away 2 VIP style tickets where you could be treated like a king or a prince or something.
Yeah, come backstage, meet the cast.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll definitely get our heads together for that. How can people follow KG and what you're doing? Because we've got to round up now.
So on the Instagram, it's all on at KG Theatre with an underscore at the end. The Facebook page, don't really post much on the Facebook page, but the website is always up to date. You know, the website's had a complete transformation. So www.kgtheatre.com. And yeah, or just email me, kgtheatre21@gmail.com. Anything, just search KG Theatre, you'll find it.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad we're doing this again, and I'm glad we've got this good relationship still, because I felt so bad all year about this stuff.
Honestly, things happen.
It's hard because I'll go and take loads of pictures at an event. It's like the Rocking Horse, we did the background actors workshop, and it was like 30 odd gig, and he was like, can you send them over? And I was like, probably not. It was 30 gig, so if you can run up with a USB stick, I can do that for you. But we'll make sure that whatever I get today, I'll make something good, and I'll give you everything, because I think those comparison shots from 6 months ago to now are actually going to be really nice to see. So I'm glad we can do this. Before we get out of here, guys, I want to tell you about an event that we're running in September, which is Pod Aid, which is we're going to go live in front of cameras and microphone on the 29th of September at 9 a.m. We've got 24-hour-long guests that are going to be joining us. We've got a crew that spans across the Atlantic. There's 3 of us UK side. There's going to be me, Alexander Westwood, and Moose Cooper, and a couple of guest hosts that are going to be coming on. And over in America, we've got Tom Bruno in Vermont, and we have George and David in California. We're going to be up all night. We've got some amazing guests to speak to. We're going to be raising money for Lincoln Davis. We have a great venue. Thank you to Love to Stay. They're giving us our own room. It's amazing. I can't wait for that. Thank you to Charles Denscom from Micro Videos for giving us a camera, and we also have our main sponsors, Reach, who have made us look fantastic. So Pod Aid, make sure you follow on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, and look out for updates on that.
Amazing.
Thank you for chatting.
Thank you very much.
It's been great. Thanks.
Cheers.